Hello and welcome to Yarn ChickHen. I'm Mrs. T.
And we're all the friends. Oops, this is take 3. I'm leaving this in. Carry on.
Hello and welcome to Yarn ChickHen. I'm Mrs. T.
And we're all the friends.
What are we going to talk about in today's episode? Mr. T, over to you.
Well, Mrs. T, today is episode 14, believe it or not, and we are going to talk about UFOs and FOs. Part Happy Mail. Mr. T's absolute beginner's corner and Scottish word of the day. So Mrs. T, it's over to you for some UFOs and FOs.
I'd like to point out that the UFOs and the FOs do not mean fluff off or you fluff off. The UFOs are unfinished objects, also known as WIPs, meaning works in progress, and FOs are finished objects. My UFO today is something that I'm going to be taking my time doing. It's a back burner type of thing, and it is, thank you Mr. T, my squares for a blanket I decided to make out of the same squares that I made the book sleeve out of. Now I'm going to stand up so I can get a little closer so you can see. I've made 5 only, but like I said, it's the back burner.
Very pretty. And this is in black wool and white.
Yep. Actually, it's supposed to be Oxford blue, but no matter what light I look at it in, it's black. But I still like it. I like the contrast.
If you just tilt that, you can show the viewers what I'm looking at.
Okay, well then you.
And that there. What's that?
Okay, so this is a blocking block. It's made of wood. Sometimes you can get them and they're foam and they come with T-pins, and a T-pin is basically a pin like for sewing, but it's got a T-edge on it and they use that to poke it in. But this is a block, and as you can see, they've got pins that go in little holes. Can you see the holes?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and they go in little holes, and this particular one only came with 8 pins, which I wish I had more, so I think I'll be ordering myself a few more extra so I can put some in between, because I think it'll block better. This particular snowflake will block better if I do that. And it's basically a blocking board, so you stretch your squares out on it, as you can see, and it makes them a little bit more square, so when you sew them together, when you're finished making them all, okay,
yes.
All right, when you're finished making them all,
Cool.
then it's easier to sew them together. It's basically blocking them without steam. You just get them a little bit damp and stretch them out, and you block them without steam. You can steam block them as well while they're on here. And I wouldn't recommend trying to use an iron on a block because it's just too difficult. But if you have a steamer, you could do that. But this is easy enough. Just dampen the squares and pop them on, and it'll do the same thing. You just let them dry.
Okay, and that's the UFO for this week.
And now for the FOs. And like I said before, it's not fluff offs, it's the finished objects. And last week, I showed you this FO, this finished object, this cute little bird. And as you know, I said you can't have just one. So, Mr. T, could you hand me my FO of this week? Doo! It's the little Golden Oriole and the pattern that I'm following around. I don't know if Mr. T wants to put the photo of the birds that are in the pattern, but I think he came out superbly cute. His little butt.
Very, very cute wee things.
And this is a beginner's kit, and I'm sort of doing a little bit of a review as I go along. And like I said, the patterns are fabulous. The yarn, I really like the yarn, but the yarn is not good for amigurumis. This one in particular, when I crocheted it up and stuffed it, if I get really close, you can see the holes.
Oh, yeah.
It's too stretchy. It's just too stretchy. Probably good for socks or something like that, but it's just too stretchy for amigurumi. I mean, you just need something that's not going to give when you stuff it. You need something, you know, pretty solid. So although I think he still came out really, really cute, I'm a bit disappointed with how wide the holes are. And I even tried not to stuff him too much, but if you don't stuff him enough, then he just looks sad and saggy like a deflated balloon. And then of course there's their little feet, which are the cutest little things. And then I like his little eye contouring that they had us do in the pattern. And they came out really cute. So now the missus has a mister to keep her company. I hope you all like the way that turned out as much as I did. Yes, Mr. T?
Well, someone did, because we got a comment from Maya T, who says, "Oh, cute little birdie," and then she loves it.
I love it too. I love it. The shape and everything about that little pattern, I really, really, really like it. The yarn that came with the kit, not so much. But it's good yarn for something else. You know,
very nice yarn, but it's not
exactly.
amigurumi.
There's nothing wrong with the yarn as such, but it's just not the kind you want to use. You don't want stretchy yarn for amigurumi. You just don't want it. And the next birdie on my list, because there's 5 of them, is going to be a parakeet. So that'll be the next one I'll be working on. Whether or not I finish it before our next video, it remains to be seen. I do have a full-time job, a traditional full-time job that I have to travel to and travel home from. So my time is limited during the week, but we shall see how well I get on.
Talking of getting on, we are now up to the part Happy Mail, which is in 2 parts this week. The first part was what you saw earlier.
And it's not the work in progress, it's actually the pin board for the block. And we will be going into this in more detail, where we got it from and why we got it, in our special edition video you'll have to keep your eye out for, because you'll never know when we're going to put it out.
No. However, the second part, and really what we wanted to talk about today, was, or is, this.
Well, it's a bit of this and a bit of this. So,
crochet hooks.
The crochet hooks, but it's not just about crochet hooks. It's about longer handled crochet hooks for people who have bigger hands. I know there's quite a few people that I've spoken to in the past that they are put off crocheting because the crochet hooks, even the most expensive name brand ones, like these, which are Clovers. I mean, look at the size of that. So teeny tiny. And these are actually Prim hooks. And then these are our special secret hooks that we will be telling you about in like 2 seconds.
Welcome to a special edition of Mr. T's Absolute Beginner's Corner. And as you can see, we are reviewing some crochet hooks and it's also a bit of how do you crochet. Now, as a beginner, I would like to just point out that there's no right or wrong way to crochet, which I get a bit confused about. Whatever works and is comfortable is your right way. So don't have people telling you, well, you don't do it right. Do it the way you want to. If it works, that's fine. Just like all these people going about crochet is better than knitting, knitting's better than crochet. Whatever you love is the best one. Now, go over to Mrs. T, who will show you how to do some expert crocheting because I couldn't. Take it away, Mrs. T.
This is a quick comparison to the needles, the crochet hooks that I have that Mr. T has been practicing his crochet with. I have these Prim circular needles here for a reason, but I'll get to that in just a few seconds. I just wanted to show that these are another one of my favorite hooks. They're Clover, and this is a size 6 millimeter. These are Clover hooks. Okay, and then here's our favorite pony hooks, and these are the new ones. As you can see, the new ones have the size inscribed up here rather than printed down here. So that's an improvement from the last set that I've gotten. And then we've got the Prim that I showed you earlier. That's also a 6 millimeter, very long crochet hook. And then our new ones, which are also quite long, not quite as long as the Prim, but fairly long. Now, Mr. T, he'll give you his opinion on this Prim crochet hook. And I quite liked the Prim crochet hook, but, and this is the but, I have the Prim Ergonomic double pointed needles somewhere. I can't find them, but I had 2 sets. I think I had 3.5s and 4s. And as you can see, the little tips up here and here, they're slightly bulbous, and they're actually quite nice to knit with. They're triangular, so you've got a good grip. It's almost like having a thumb grip on the whole of the knitting needle, and it makes no difference to the roundness of the stitches, the triangular, and it's really nice. Except when I was knitting one of my frogs, snapped the end of that off of one of my double pointed needles, and I had already bought this one, and I thought I am not buying any more of those because I'm not a really tight knitter. I'm a tighter crocheter than I am a knitter. And if I can snap that little guy off with my loose knitting gauge, then what am I going to do when I'm a much tighter crocheter to one of these? But I will sit down and I will show you how these 4 crochet hooks crochet. I have these hooks lined up, but I am going to move them to the side. I'm going to start with the Prim. I'm going to move on to our super secret crochet hook. Then I'll go on to the pony, and then I will go on to the Clover. The reason being is because I've got this on the table, as you can see, and they all seem to be in descending order of size. So the Prim's the longest, this one's the second longest, then this one's more of an average, and this one's just ever so slightly smaller. Not much, I mean, very hard to see, but it's just a little bit smaller, and I'm talking lengthwise, yes, because they are all 6 millimeter hooks. So I'm just going to move those 3 over here to the side. And I'll start with this. I'm just going to use some DK weight yarn because I'm not going to go digging around just too much for anything. This will be good enough for the purposes of today. And I'll just go ahead and we will start with a little swatch real quick. And this is smooth enough. It's a nice and smooth, you know, hook. It feels good. But like I said, my worry is I'm a very tight crocheter, and I really wouldn't be too happy if I keep snapping bits off of my working tools. I do like it, and I did like it at the time when I first got it, and I hadn't snapped the tip of my knitting needle off, because they're made out of the same kind of stuff. Feels like toothbrush material. And but I do like the shape. I like that point. I like that point there. And that the throat's quite deep in there. I also like the longness of the shaft and the feel of the handle. And it's warmer, which is why I thought Mr. T would love this hook, because it is a warmer handle because it's not metal, so it doesn't aggravate the sensitivity he has with his, well, it's not really an injury. I guess you could call it a accident with his surgery, but that's not down to him. That's down to the surgeons. So you can see, you know, it's nice. It was smooth. You saw how quickly I crocheted that up. So I will go on to the next hook. You can see, you know, I'll hold it. You can see. See how much it hangs off. And here's the next hook. And we'll do a similar little, and that's pretty smooth, surprisingly smooth, considering it's a no-name brand. You know, it's not something that's, you know, Clover or Prim or Pony or, you know, any of those. You fill in the word if you've got a very special kind that you like, Susan Bates, you know, whatever ones you like. It's still quite a smooth surface, and the handle feels good. I do like the shape. I like that the throat is also a bit deep in there, because a lot of these cheaper hooks, they don't actually have a throat as such. It's like blocked up. It's like they forgot that there needs to be a hook, so they give a hook shape, but they don't actually, it's not actually a hook. And what I mean is this bit right in there, right there. I'll use another smaller hook. This bit here, a lot of the time in these hooks, especially the cheaper ones, no name brand ones, that's filled in. So you have that little tip, and then this is all filled in, and then there, and it's not really a hook when it does that. But this one actually, as you can see, it's actually got a little bit of a hook to it, which I find very good, because as you can see, this is similar. It's got a little bit less, but it still has that good sharp hookness to it. And here's the Pony, very similar. And of course our Clover, which it looks the most like the Clover. And there's that one, and I like the way that feels, but you can see how long that is as well, just like the Prim. Our third hook is of course our new Pony, as you can see, with the engraved size on there now. I think that's quite fabulous. You see it in my hand. Yep. And we'll do a quick quick chain, go back so you can see. That feels as good as it always feels, actually. I like the slight points that they have. Some of these hooks have a tendency, and you'll see that I don't really have those kind of hooks, have a tendency to be a bit too smooth. And I'm not too keen on that because I like to do amigurumi and a tight stitch. So I need a little bit of a point to help me force that hook through there. So although I'm crocheting tight, I can still get my crochet hook in there and have a nice tight fabric. So when I stuff it, you don't have holes everywhere, unless you have stretchy fabric. But we won't go into that because that's not what this is about. But you see, so that's another nice, smooth, everything's nice, nice hook. Now remember, I've got average hands. You know, my hands aren't really small, but they're also not really big. So for me, so far, all three of these are quite comfortable. And our last crochet hook is this Clover, and I do like a Clover hook. And like it too has a little bit of a point. It's not quite as pointy as the Clover, and it's not quite as pointy as my Susan Bates. I don't have the Susan Bates in a comparison with these because I don't have Susan Bates that have these handles on them. They're just the metal Susan Bates hooks. I'm fine using the metal hooks. Mr. T is not. So that's why we're doing all the hooks that we have that have, you know, some kind of grip on there to keep it from being too cold for Mr. T. And we'll do a quick swatch of this. I have discovered just now doing this that I am not really good at talking while I am chaining and trying to count at the same time. I'm not good at that at all. So forgive the silences when I'm doing my chains. And as you can see, I have my own way of holding the hook. I have my own way of holding the yarn, and that's okay. Oops. So I'm trying to film this, and I don't think I'm doing a very good job of seeing what I'm doing while I'm filming. I don't know how these the people that do all these tutorials know how they do this. I wonder if they do a lot of bloopers. Maybe that's it. I finally got it in there. All right, there you go. And this one's smooth. Now I have to say, as far as smoothness goes, the Clovers they're really smooth. This, whatever they do to their hooks, this smoothness, it's like, it's smoother than silk. Silk has a bit of a grip. This has, it's just, sometimes I find myself having to switch from a Clover hook to maybe a pony because it's so slick. If I'm trying to do amigurumi, it'll keep falling off, and that gets a bit annoying after a while. It's a great thing, but it also can be annoying depending on what you're doing. If you're making clothes or squares or something, these are brilliant. But when you're trying to do amigurumi, sometimes it's too slippy. It slips off when you're trying to do something, and then you've lost a stitch, and then you're like, ah! And mid-flow, it can be quite annoying, but it doesn't happen all the time. And other people may not have that problem at all, but these are really super slick. They're also between 40 and 50 pounds for a pack of, I think it's 8 or 9. But they're still good. But like I said, I've got average hands. Average hands. That's how they feel to me.
We're going to use the first long hook, which is this Prim thing. And I have just put on a slip knot, and like I say, don't you worry about how I crochet. I'm not exactly good, but hey, I have fun, and that's what counts. So we just slippy boppy. Now Mrs. T had smaller hands, and I have made a boo-boo. But there we go. That's 3 little chains. I quite like this hook. I do like the texture. I know she talked about the scar. I had a little, I don't know what the term is, but I was born with this wee veiny thing here that was a big vein that they cut out eventually, and as you can see the scar, that's where they cut it out. It went underneath the carpal tunnel, and there's a nerve that does the whole of this finger and half of that one there, and the surgeon nicked it. So I don't like the touch of metal. I can do this down that half of the finger, but I cannot do it down that half. So metal is, that's why I don't like metal hooks. So that's a big long one, quite like that. This one, I just love the feel of already. It's nice and long, and it's got this little flat point where I put my thumb. It just feels really, really good. We shall see how you get on. But it feels really good. And I do this funny way. But hey ho, you do whatever works. I like this one. I like it a lot. It just feels nice and comfortable. As you can see with some of the smaller ones coming up, it won't feel as comfy. So there. Yes, I like that. And that's a 6mm hook. This one, see how small it is? It's already jabbing the palm of my hand. So if I was working for a long time with this, I think it would get on my nerves. Because that's the problem. You want something that's comfy, or you will stop doing it. I'm not exactly the world's fastest. But yeah, I mean, you can crochet with it, but that there, can you see? It's digging into my hand. Digging into my hand. There. Digging in. So the last one, it's a bit better than the other hook so far as it's got a bulb, so it's not as sore when it goes into your palm of your hand. But again, you see it fits in there. Oh. It's a nice hook to crochet with. So I mean, you can crochet with all 4 of these hooks, but that there, you see, it's just not comfy. Not comfy for bigger hands. Whereas this one we're going to talk about in a special video, much better, much better. So there we go, that's my little very quick chain. And if I was to review these, I would have this little silicone handled hook, the winner by quite some distance. This one's nice and long, but it doesn't feel right. You know, it does not feel right. So yeah, the long ones come first and second, third and fourth are the smaller ones which dig into the palm of my hand. Okay.
We hope you enjoyed that little insightful video on how Mr. T's progress is coming along. Also, if you want to know more about those long crochet hooks and where we got them, hit your notification bell because we have a special video coming out and it'll tell you all about our hunting and searching to find some crochet hooks that were longer than the average crochet hook. And we are now in the section of the word of the day. It's the Scottish word of the day, to be more precise. Mr. T, take it away with all your Scottishness.
Thank you, Mrs. T. And today's word, I think, captures some of what we've been talking about perfectly. The Scottish word of the day today is Glaum, and that's spelled Glaum, pronounced Glaum. Now, Glaum has a few meanings to it. First of all, we can use the meaning for birds, and you'll quite often see small birds are often seen glamming at seeds and insects. So that's pecking around, eating the little insects, groping around looking for them. There's also the meaning, which is to grope or grasp at something in the dark, or aimlessly grasp it. And you could say, if you looked at the video for the crochet hooks, Mr. T was going to glam onto these extra long hooks to see if they're a better match for his muckle hands than the standard ones, obviously. And that is Glaum, the Scottish word of the day for episode 14. Back to you, Mrs. T.
Well, that tied in really well, doubly good, because it tied in with the crochet hooks and it tied in with the birds. Very good. So I think today, do you know, I have no idea what we should have as an emoji today. Mr. T, any thoughts?
I think, because Easter's coming up, happy Easter everyone, they should have an Easter chick, or a chick that's cracked open, something like that.
Little Easter, Easter chick. Easter chicken and egg. Yes.
Something Easter related.
Something
anyway.
Easter related. You choose it.
Yes.
Surprise us. Surprise us with an Easter greeting. And if you enjoyed, yes, Mr. T?
I'm going to say to people, because I want to get on a little rant, if you're going to have a chocolate Easter egg, make sure it's chocolate and none of this palm oil nonsense.
Yeah, chocolate and
milk. And milk.
Yeah, because they can't call a chocolate Easter egg if it doesn't have enough chocolate.
No.
And who wants to have a bunch of palm oil in a chocolate egg anyway? It's milk chocolate, milk chocolate.
Yes.
That's the point.
Stop chopping these rainforests down to make palm oil.
Ugh, yeah.
Milk and chocolate.
Milk and cocoa chocolate. Yes, Mr. T.
I digress. I'm sorry. Happy Easter, everyone. We shall be back with a special little episode, maybe on Easter Day, but maybe just after it, of something that's going to happen with those birdies.
All right, Mr. T, could you be any more tantalizing with your trying to tell people without telling people your little secret?
If they watch our social medias, they might know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and like I said, don't forget to hit the notification bell with that special video coming out. And have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.